he's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing. But it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, and I think also, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them, and I think he took that hit and, really doubled down in the other direction.
Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. I do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot.
Yeah.
And he'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time. The whole show is talking bad about Trump.
He called us doofuses when we had you on.
He's a group of doofuses in flat-brimmed hats.
Guess what? We
Ask him how many...
what he did.
Ask him. Yeah, you do bigger. Yeah. His show's done.
Jimmy Kimmel just got blindsided with a $500 million slap from President Trump. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly are having an absolute field day. Rogan torches Kimmel like a comic dying on stage, while Kelly dismantles his Hollywood ego with surgical precision. From arrogant rants to courtroom drama, this isn't just a takedown, it's a comedic obliteration. Buckle up, Kimmel's nosedive just became late night's biggest implosion.
I struggle to even mention that guy's name. He's such an absolute, I can't stand him. But anyway, it's just my thought bubble out loud. We took a look at some of their reactions to the news of Trump's win. Look at this.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah, me neither.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate. It was a terrible night for poor people, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO.
You know how much it costs to produce Jimmy Kimmel's show? I guarantee you it's tens and tens of millions. It could be as much as 100 million. I have no idea. You know how much Tucker's video cost? Nothing. You know how much Jimmy Kimmel, how many people he gets tuning in on an average night? Just last week, his average was, in the overall, meaning all viewers, 1.5 million. In the key demo, 236,000. Tucker would have been embarrassed to pull that on any night he was on the Fox News channel.
Joe Rogan couldn't believe what he was reading. Trumpia, still commander-in-chief, just hit Jimmy Kimmel with a lawsuit for $500 million. Not a CA Sandusist, not some passive-aggressive legal memo, but a nuclear-sized lawsuit. Joe didn't even make it to the end of the headline before bursting out laughing.
There's not a chance in hell that this is funny or gonna work. And when you see those flat, corny, late-night monologue jokes with no audience, there's Jimmy Kimmel, there's Fallon. What they're doing is just like reading off of a teleprompter. So a bunch of really good joke writers wrote them some stuff, and then they're playing to the audience, and the audience is like laughing, so they get this feedback, and they know how to do that. They stand there, and there's applause signs, and then there's producers. There's the warm-up guy that's literally telling people to applaud. They're like, okay, explain to the people. Okay, when Jimmy comes out, I want a big round of applause. Let's practice this right now.
He leaned back in disbelief, cracking up like he'd just watched a kangaroo body slam a prizefighter. This headline, pure gold. Jimmy Kimmel, smug prince of cue card comedy, finally triggered the wrong guy. And now that guy Trump is charging, in with attorneys and the weight of the Oval Office. Joe was giddy, like a kid unwrapping the surprise sequel to his favorite chaos-fueled saga.
Do you know who's going to be hosting the Academy Awards this year? Jimmy Kimmel. Do you know who's worn blackface repeatedly and spoken inner city sort of urban accent saying she needs to darn those socks? Jimmy Kimmel as Oprah, as a fat-suited, black-faced, darning socks Oprah. Now, if you are of the left, that's fine. If you are of the right and happen to just say, hey, people used to wear blackface and nobody freaked out about it, you get fired.
Joe launched in saying Kimmel getting hit with a $500 million lawsuit was like watching a house cat try to tackle a freight train. There's brave, and then there's straight up delusional. Kimmel really thought the president would just roll his eyes at the nightly cheap shots. Joe said it plain. Kimmel thought his desk gave him diplomatic immunity. Spoiler, it doesn't.
Horrified, after yours truly said in 2018 that people used to don dark makeup in order to imitate well-known black celebrities and it wasn't a big deal. Absolutely ate up the performance by Hollywood darling Mr. Kimmel, whose blackface costumes included his oft-repeated bit as basketball star Karl Malone.
Then Joe tore into Kimmel's ego trip. He said watching Jimmy do political humor is like a chihuahua yapping orders at a SWAT team. It's loud, it's cute, it's irrelevant, and now, it's expensive. Joe ripped his style too, calling it comedy for cubicle interns, safe, soft, and utterly forgettable. It's not edgy. It's not clever. It's like soggy toast in a tuxedo.
Tucker's number were 3 times what Jimmy Kimmel gets. And Tucker's little basement video that he did from clearly like his cabin that he broadcasts out of Maine in literally has 21 million views. Okay? 21 million views. Whereas, as I point out, on ABC, a massive network that comes into your home for free, that you have to make no effort to find, at best, Jimmy Kimmel can get 1.5 million. He needs to have a little self-perspective before going out there and hurling these insults because he looks a little silly.
Rogan leaned forward and said the real punchline wasn't Jimmy's show, was Jimmy thinking he was still edgy. Dude, you're a corporate mascot with applause signs. He laughed. Joe said the rebellion ended a decade ago, and now Jimmy's just throwing Nerf balls at a freight ship. Except that ship's suing and it owns private islands. Joe could barely breathe imagining Kimmel deleting old clips like a kid scrubbing chalkboard slurs before the principal shows up. This wasn't about money, Joe said. It was psychological warfare. Trump wasn't after a win, he wanted Jimmy spiraling, panicking over cappuccinos and case law. The real irony. The man who built a career mocking celebs now can't handle a little return fire. Joe said it perfectly. You're not Jon Stewart. And even John would have told you to switch it up 5 years ago.
Problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction where more and more things become forbidden and toxic. To the point where, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole. Which is pretty funny. But then,
Really?
Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns. It's transphobic to joke about pronouns. So they were chiding him.
Joe wrapped his segment with a jab. This lawsuit might be the only interesting thing to hit Jimmy Kimmel live in ages. At least now people are Googling Kimmel for more than awkward interviews and stale Kate movie promos. But while Joe was cracking up, Megyn Kelly was just getting warmed up with a scalpel. Not a joke. She entered, cool, composed, and sharp as ever. To Megyn, this wasn't random drama. This was the inevitable script. The court jester finally mocked the wrong monarchond, now the king's swinging back with gold-plated fury. She didn't sugarcoat it. Kimmel mistook applause for importance. He really thought mocking Trump in front of a clapping audience made him Che Guevara. In reality, he's just parroting safe sarcasm, served lukewarm.
How weak and pathetic is a guy like that? The Tonight Show, which is dying. They're all dying. Where's Johnny Carson? Bring back Johnny. It made you appreciate, right, Uncle Sam? It made you appreciate the greatness of Johnny Carson. I go on his show, and he goes, is that your real hair? I said, yeah. He said, do you mind if I mess it up? So he grabs it, and he starts really going crazy, right? And everybody laughed, and it was a big thing. It was a big hit. It was all over the place, and he got great ratings and all. And 6 months later, he went out because he was under pressure to apologize because he humanized.
Then Megyn went full forensic. She dismantled Kimmel's legacy like a bored surgeon on autopilot. He used to be funny, she said. Back in the Wild Man Show days, that guy's gone. What's left is a factory-approved caricature fake outraged, polished, predictable. He's like the ex-rebel who became hall monitor and can't figure out why no one listens anymore. Then came the gut punch, mocking Trump on primetime and pretending it's brave. Megyn laughed. It's like yelling at your mirror. Zero risk. All smug. She called the lawsuit karmic perfection. The guy who mocked everyone now gets flattened by a legal freight train for thinking jokes made him bulletproof. This isn't censorship, she said. It's called consequences. And Jimmy, he's about to learn that punchlines aren't shields.
Last night was the 96th Academy Awards show, and while you might have missed it, there was one clear winner. No, not Oppenheimer. It was sanctimonious leftists for their lead role in pretending they are better than you. Several people shared in this achievement. Winner number 1, Jimmy Kimmel. For the 4th time, Kimmel hosted the Oscars before an adoring crowd of Hollywood stars who laughed and curried favor with the man who wore blackface so many times.
Megyn kept going. She said the lawsuit shattered the fantasy that late-night hosts live in some magical immunity bubble. Kimmel's been writing anti-Trump punchlines for years, acting like some fearless crusader while forgetting one thing: glass studios and bricks don't mix. Then she turned to Hollywood. Jimmy, she said, isn't just a snarky host. He's a gear in the smug media machine that thinks mockery only flows one way. When Trump hits back, it's suddenly an emergency. But Jimmy's nightly he's just jokes? She mocked the double standard, rolled her eyes, then delivered the dagger. Maybe this lawsuit is the best PR Kimmel's had in a decade. At least someone's watching. She imagined Jimmy reading that court notice like it's the script for a horror movie. The lights dim, music swells, and he realizes this isn't a sketch. It's a $500 million reckoning. She finished with a swing at the wallet. Kimmel might have to pawn those desk mugs and celebrity contacts just to afford what's next.
But nobody's going to care anymore. It's like you're seeing it take place with late night television. Nobody gives a fuck about it anymore.
I know.
And it's slowly, you have a bad business model and you're not adapting.
Yeah, the creativity's gone for late night comedy.
Then Megyn said, what no one on TV will admit, this wasn't about silencing Kimmel. This was a message. Trump doesn't just want to win. He wants the curtain pulled back on smug celebrity grandstanding. Take a shot at the king. You'd better hit. Jimmy missed hard. As the dust settled, Joe and Megyn stood on opposite ends of the carnage, completely aligned in their shock and laughter. Because this lawsuit, it wasn't just legal drama. It was a roast in disguise. And for once, the punchline hit back. Joe doubled over again, howling as he imagined Kimmel getting served papers like a sitcom gone wrong. He said the most poetic twist. Jimmy finally got Trump's attention. Just not the TikTok clip he wanted. This one came bound in legalese and packed with numbers that sound like Monopoly money.
I think that's him or a writer, can't tell.
Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
No, it's him, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
good. That's a good one.
He's a comic.
That's a good one.
I mean, yeah, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke.
Joe wasn't done. He said Kimmel poked a bear, and forgot this bear owned skyscrapers and a law firm with its own zip code. Trump didn't fire back with a tweet. He launched a legal warhead, and now Jimmy's stuck holding a mic, out of jokes, drowning in fine print. Joe joked that the next Kimmel monologue might include a legal advisory and a table full of lawyers just off camera. Then Joe got reflective. He said the whole fiasco proved something simple. Being loud isn't the same as being brave. Having a camera doesn't make you untouchable. Kimmel thought he was in a fantasy battle, but he wasn't fighting dragons, he was throwing paper balls at a tank. And now that tank, it's idling in his driveway with a grin and a lawsuit thicker than a phone book.
Tell you, he's not the worst. The Daily Show has the worst ratings. They only have 366,000 people watching that show. During the Jon Stewart years, it was over 2 million. Now it's down to 300,000. Seth Meyers, absolutely dreadful. He doesn't even have 1 million. 778,000. I mean, in network television, this is, you don't have to pay for it. It's there when you turn on your TV. You plug it in. That's a dreadful number. Greg Gutfeld on cable, which you do have to pay for, it has more than double the numbers of Seth Meyers. Jimmy Kimmel, 1.5 million averaging, also equally horrible. And then there's The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, who, back when I was there, 2017-18, he was averaging 2.3 million a night. Now he's down to 1.3 million, Jesse. And he cannot afford the "you are toxic" controversy because he's also pulling in, reportedly, over $15 million a year. So you got all that money for 1.5 million in audience, which is a nothing. I mean, the middle of the day on Fox News gets that, or at least used to before the Tucker controversy.
Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly lit her torch again, laughing at the image of Kimmel frantically Googling, "Can sarcasm be sued?" She said the man once hailed as a rebel comic is about to get a masterclass in actual resistance. No hashtags, no Emmy, applause, just raw legal fire. She said Jimmy might try to spin this into a bit or beg for sympathy, but the truth, he got too comfortable. He thought mocking Trump was a risk-free game. Now the buzzer's gone off, and he's scrambling, cameras rolling. Joe and Megyn reached rare agreement. Jimmy's no longer the guy, lobbing jokes from the sidelines. He stepped into the ring, and the lion, it's hungry, that $500 million roar. Just the opening act.